Okay, so 4 is graphing inequalities in two variables. So a system of inequalities is a set of two or more inequalities with the same variables. So it's what we've been working with systems of equations, but now we have inequalities. So to graph a system of inequalities, we're going to graph both inequalities on the coordinate plane. Remember to use solid or dashed lines. We're going to shade the solutions to each inequality, and then we're going to determine where the graphs intersect, and that's going to be our solution. So let's go to number 1. Jake, A. What do we have on A? What form is this equation in? What form is the equation in? Is it slope, intercept, or standard? Slope, intercept. Slope, intercept, we find M. So what is the slope? 2 over 1. And then we find B. What is the y-intercept? 2. So how do we graph that? Valerie. So remember, it's rise over run. A few of you have been switching that. So rise up 2 over 1. And you're going to continue that so that you can get a nice line. And are we going to make a solid or dashed line? Dashed, right? Because it says less than, it doesn't say equal to. So this is my first graph, okay? And then I'm going to determine if we shade on the upper side or the lower side. And how do I determine which side to shade on? How do I determine where to shade? Mike, I'm at a test point. What point do we want to test? If we can, 0, 0, because it's the easiest. So we're going to go up to the equation. We're going to put 0 where y is and 0 where x is. 0 is less than 2. Is that true? Yes. So we're going to shade on this side of the graph. And you might want to use multiple colors just as a heads up going in the future if it helps you. So the first equation, I'm making orange and I'm shading orange. Okay. So now we're going to graph the second line. So what is my slope on the second line? So does everybody visually see there's a negative sign but no number? What's the number there if there's no number? It's a 1 because we're multiplying by 1. So it's negative 1 over 1. And what is my b value? Negative 3. So I begin at negative 3 on the y-axis. That's my y-intercept. And I'm going to move down 1 and over 1. Solid or dashed line? Solid because it has the line. So think if it has a line, I make a line. And then we draw that. Now we pick the test point. Let's go back to 0, 0. So 0 is greater than or equal to negative 0 minus 3. 0 is greater than or equal to negative 3. Is that true? Is 0 greater than or equal to negative 3? Yes. So I need to shade the side where 0, 0 is, which is this upper part here. And I'm going to, again, change color and say that this is yellow. So the second equation is yellow. So your solution to the system of inequalities is where the shared solutions are. So where is the region where they're shared? Does everybody see it? This whole area in here. So what I say when you're using pencil is I don't need you to go back and erase the stuff you did over in these areas. Just make this area darker. So with your pencil, shade the shared area nice and dark so it's clear that that's where your solution is. So if I want to find a point that works for both equations, it needs to be within this region. Okay, it needs to be within this region, and we know that one point is 0, 0 since we tested it. Okay, so 0, 0 worked for both, so we know that that's a point in our region. Questions on that? So the solution is anything in that shaded area.